just skip you.
I won't intervene.
Okay.
As I say, though, Claire, I think we should mention that Nick is present, just for the sake of completeness, because he will be appearing on the YouTube feed, or his name will be. So.
Okay. Right. Well, welcome.
Wait.
No.
Just about to start broadcasting, and there's one person watching. Oh,
no.
What? Okay.
Don't worry.
Welcome to the one person watching, whoever you are. Right, Claire, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Well, welcome everybody to the first Finance Committee meeting of this year, and the first one we've done on Zoom, and my first as the chair. So everybody, please be gentle with me. So, do we have any apologies? Is everyone here? I think everyone's here. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, no apologies, Claire, sorry.
Thank you. Right, so declarations of interest. We all have to do the formula thing. So when I call on you, can you please do the bit? So Keith first.
I'm Councillor Keith Budden. I have read the agenda, and I have no interest in any of the items to declare tonight.
Thank you. And Roger?
I am Roger Hargreaves. I am a parish councillor of Liss Parish Council. I confirm I have read the agenda, have no interest to declare in any of the items being considered this evening.
Thank you. Howard?
I'm a parish councillor, Howard Lindsley, and I have no interest in any of the items this evening.
Thank you. Leanne?
I, Leanne MacDonald, am a parish councillor of Liss Parish Council. I confirm that I have read the agenda and have no interest to declare in any of the items being considered this evening.
Thank you. Andy?
I am Andy Smith. I'm a councillor for Liss Parish Council. I confirm I've read the agenda and I have no interest to declare on any of the items this evening.
Thank you. And me? I, Councillor Claire Williams, am Parish Councillor of Liss Parish Council. I confirm that I've read the agenda and have no interest to declare on any of the items being considered this evening. And to note for the record that Councillor Nick Wilson is also present as an observer. Okay, so next item is the minutes of the meeting that were held on the 3rd of December. Has anybody got any items for accuracy? No? Okay, and are there any matters arising that won't be covered in the body of the meeting?
Yes, I have one. At the last meeting in December, I chaired it, and then subsequently Claire agreed to take over as chair of the committee. I rang round everybody and everybody was very happy for Claire to take over. I don't know whether we need to formally have that on agenda sometime, or whether we just regard it as having been done. Claire, Claire's been doing the job since that agreement several months ago.
Didn't we cover that in the matters that was done under the delegated responsibilities at the last council meeting?
It was specifically listed, yeah.
Yes, okay. I think it ought to be recorded in the minutes of this meeting that it's happened, though.
Okay.
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay, thank you. So shall we take these minutes as the true? Can I have a proposer, please?
No, one moment.
Oops, sorry, Roger.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say something.
Sorry, Leanne.
I was just going to say something. On the last, I wasn't at the last meeting, but on the last page, it's got the date of the next meeting. Do we need some sort of explanation in these minutes why the last meeting didn't take place?
I don't know. Liz?
You can record it if you want. I don't think it's a requirement. It's not unusual for minutes recorded in previous minutes to have their dates changed. But if you want for completeness, we can record that.
Yeah, I just thought for completeness it might be a good thing.
I'll agree to that.
Anything else for anyone else?
No.
Okay. Can I have a proposer to take these minutes as the true record, please?
I'm happy to do it.
And a seconder?
I'll second it.
Thank you. All those in favour?
Yeah.
Opposed?
Yes.
Done and dusted. Okay, so review of the first quarter's accounts.
Hang on, are we still having matters arising from
Oh.
the?
No, I thought we'd done matters arising, but we can re-matter arise.
I'll approve the minutes.
Sorry.
I hate ever so pedantic. Quickly, you should approve the minutes and then go to matters arising.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, matters arising.
Mine was only a small one under 52 Fin 19. There's a reference to the CCTV, and it said it was therefore decided to look at a wider and costed proposal for comprehensive CCTV improvement for consideration by the council. I just wanted to know if anybody is taking that forward.
Not as far as I'm aware. I imagine it's something that has been overtaken by recent events in the facilities committee, but we can certainly follow up on it and find out.
Yes, it's fine. It's not urgent to me, but it's just a loose end that I don't want to be overlooked.
Okay.
It's something for the facilities committee, but yeah, we've had other things on the agenda, but it's something that the facilities committee will look at.
As long as it appears on their agenda at some point, that's fine.
Any other matters arising? No? Okay. All right. So the next agenda item is review of the accounts for the first quarter. Firstly, I would like to add my thanks to Liz for getting these out in a timely fashion. It's good work. It's only the 13th of the month and we've already got the first quarter's accounts out, so that's excellent work. I have reviewed the accounts and there's nothing on them that concern me at all. So overall, we're looking at about 33% of the total expenditure for the total budgeted expenditure for the year has been spent and a quarter of the year is gone. But that percentage is sort of muddied by the fact that some of the expenditure is front-ended. So we've spent £12,425 worth of our grants already, and there won't be very much expenditure in the next 3 quarters for that. Insurance premiums are paid almost all at once, so there won't be any more of that. We've made 3 payments on loan servicing, so that's slightly out of whack. Other than that, on the whole, the biggest expenditure that we have is staffing by a considerable margin, and we've spent 22% of the budget with 25% of the year gone. So all of the expenditure is completely under control. Some other things to note are that there will be some operational savings in the course of the year because of the coronavirus shutdown. We haven't had any cause for any waste disposal. The electricity bills and the gas bills and the village hall and the pavilion will have gone down because they're not being used. And there are other little things here and there that you don't spend quite as much money on when buildings are not being operated. So that's pretty good news. And
we'll still have to pay a standing charge, will we, for the
we will,
electricity?
but there won't be consumption charges or anywhere near the level of consumption charges on utilities in the pavilion or the village hall. We have also received a £10,000 coronavirus grant on the village hall, and it's been confirmed that we're eligible for one on the pavilion. We're just waiting to find out what the rateable value of the building is to find out how much we'll get. From memory, the rateable value of the building has to be less than £50,000, and we should receive either 15 or 25,000 pounds, but we'll wait and see when that comes in. And that means even if we lose all of the income from both the village hall and the pavilion for rental in the year, we still won't have any deficit. So that's really good news. I think that's all I have to note on the accounts. So I will go around and ask if anyone else has got anything to say. So Keith, do you have any comments or questions?
I think it's good to see that we are in a very good position, I think, bearing in mind everything that's happened. So yeah, no questions.
Yeah, it's actually really heartening that in a situation that is really strange that there's been an awful lot of help out there financially. So Roger, do you have any comments or questions?
No, none at all. I think the position is amazingly healthy, particularly with the grant money. Thank you very much for your clear exposition of the accounts.
Thank you. Howard?
Yes, I think I've got something. I'm just trying to get to the right page.
Okay.
I was a bit confused at the end of the last page where you've got income and expenditure. Are they totals as we've gone through, or what? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines. The first two are summed to the third. I wasn't quite sure. Are those the totals of everything, or are they something separate?
They are the totals. You've got these netted off items. If you look through the accounts, wherever it says less, that's a netted off item.
Okay, right. I understand in that case. Yeah.
And then they have to be added back in because you're required to do that. But the format uses it so you can compare the charity's income and any grant income against specific items of expenditure.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing, there was a comment on page 1, HALC subs paid and COVID costs. I mean, I know they're very minor items, but how do they relate to that line?
It's a group of expenditure under admin, which includes stationery and other office consumables.
Yes.
So it also includes the subscriptions, and obviously the HALC NALC subscriptions are quite front loaded. So that's a comment as to why this first quarter expenditure was high, but also in case someone asked the question, what costs have been due to COVID? I just itemised it in a couple of places. And
okay.
I think those are hand sanitizers for the office, etc., which have come through, which have come under this category.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'm with it now. Yeah. Thank you.
Right.
Anything else, Howard?
No.
Thank you. Roger?
You've done me.
I've done you. I'm going up the list instead of down. Leanne?
Yeah, I've just got a query. It's for my own learning, really. Throughout the pages, you've got less charged to charities, and I just wondered what that meant. It appears in several places. And I just wondered, it appears under general admin costs.
wasn't letting me unmute. Every year, obviously, the parish council makes a subvention payment to support the cost of the charities, but
Yeah,
also because parish council staff, for example, provide services to the charities, that is a cost to the
Oh.
charity, which is paid to the parish council. So there's a two-way movement of monies.
right,
So
okay.
in the budgets, that's itemised under lots of different categories. So the less to the charities is the cost charge for services provided by parish council staff.
So we don't itemise each charity?
No, it's grouped together. But if you look under the budgets for the different charities,
Yeah.
some have a higher cost than others. So there is a detailed breakdown.
I think it would be helpful to explain what you mean by charity.
Sorry. So you've got the Village Hall charity, you've got the Liss Recreation Ground, which is the West Liss playing field and the pavilion, and then you've got the allotments charity, which...
Right, so they're not charities as in community charities, they
Sorry.
are...
Parish council's charities.
Oh, I see, right, okay, okay.
Yeah.
And the reason that the parish council has to make charges to the charities is that they're not allowed to be subsidised in any way.
Yeah, it's just I was looking at charities in a different way.
Oh, of course,
Groups
Yes.
within this rather than,
our own charities.
yes, yeah, okay, yeah, I understand now.
Just an
Okay.
internal transfer of money from one part of the parish council to another, really.
Yeah, I understand now, yeah.
Thank you. Anything else, Leanne?
No.
Andy?
Nothing from me.
Thank you very much. Okay, so that's the review of the accounts. The next item agenda is to make a recommendation to the council on the appointment of the internal auditor. Liz has issued a paper, which I'm sure everybody has read. I think the costs are reasonable, and I think Light to Touch have done a fine job in my last 6 months with the council and from reviewing the work that they've done before. And as an accountant, it's really important that you have a good relationship with your auditors, and Liz does seem to, she's nodding. And so my recommendation is that we carry on with them. So I will go around the room again to see if anyone else has any comments. Do you have anything that you'd like to add, Liz?
No, it's fine. I thought I put it in detail in the paper, so I agree. Yeah.
Thanks.
Sorry, Claire, going back to number 4, do we not have to, as a committee, agree the accounts?
I don't know. I thought they were for information only rather than for a decision. Roger?
Yeah, that's my understanding. It's the annual ones.
Just the annual ones. Okay.
I think what we can do is vote to accept them.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Sorry to interrupt, but why do we need to vote to accept them if there's just for noting? We're just creating process for no reason, aren't we?
Well, I've just found that's normal, but I'm not hung up on it. People don't want to.
I don't mind either way.
It's helpful to note that they've been noted, so to speak, because then it is actually recorded that they were seen by everybody, looked at.
Won't that be noted in the minutes?
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So on item 5, the appointment of the internal auditor, do you have anything to add, Keith?
No, I mean, you know, we've used Light to Touch for a number of years now, and they seem to do a good job. And as you say, it's important there's a good relationship between the auditor and the RFO, which there seems to be. So yeah, I'm quite happy.
Good. Roger?
Happy with the recommendation.
Howard?
Just one problem. At the bottom of the page, the last boxes, 1,350 plus 450 is equal to £1,800, not 1,750.
Oh, yeah, well spotted.
Yeah.
Have a look. Yes, you're right. We're still, but yeah, as usual, that's fine.
So which should it be? Which figure should change?
It should be 1,800, 1,350 and 450 are the right figures.
All right.
So the cost is well within budget then. So we're
Yeah.
fine.
Anything from you, Leanne?
No, I'm fine to accept the recommendation, yeah.
Andy?
I just had a quick question. I recall reading somewhere, and I couldn't find it when I tried to re-find it, that we need to make sure that we consider changing auditors after a certain period, just because of people becoming used to each other as organizations, and that's best practice. I just wondered if we're near that point yet, or when it is for us. If that's not available now, that's fine, and I'm happy to agree the appointment. I just thought I'd mention it.
The industry standard is 10 years, but it's only a rule for companies that are larger than the parish council is, quite a bit larger, or publicly listed. So we could stick with the same auditor forever if we really wanted to, but agreed it is best practice to change every now and then. Most people do it when they become dissatisfied with the service or the cost. And as long as we're happy with what we've got, there isn't really a need to change it, but it's something to keep an eye on.
I would make one comment on that. When we do come to change them, there was a recommendation from HALC some years ago, which we've never implemented, that the auditors should be appointed by the councillors, not by the officers. So the officers should have no involvement at all. And that's an anti-fraud thing. And it seems to be a sensible way of going. Not that I distrust any of our officers, but it's just a straight recommendation that that's the way it should be done.
I think it'd be useful for the committee to see that recommendation and the advice from HALC as we consider how to appoint people going forward. So if Howard, you could dig that out and circulate it to
Well,
us, I would find that helpful.
It was verbal, so there's nothing to dig out. I don't know whether there's anything in the recent local council commission about it. I'll see if I can find if there is.
We could, we could contact HALC and ask for something in writing in an email.
Okay, I'll talk to HALC at the next meeting.
Thank you, Howard.
But please don't make a mountain out of a molehill here.
No, I've no intention.
We're very good to touch, I think.
Personnel have changed in HALC, so it might be they've changed their mind. Who knows?
Thanks, Howard, and certainly something that we'll note for when we do decide to change.
Yep.
Anything from you, Andy?
Nothing more. I'm happy to approve the recommendation as well, with everyone else has.
Thank you very much. Can I have a proposer, please?
I'm happy to propose.
Thank you. And a seconder?
I'm happy to second.
Thank you. All those in favour?
Aye.
All
Yeah.
Aye.
Thank you. Opposed? Marvellous. Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is an update on the selection of the new software. Liz has prepared a paper which I'm sure we've all read, and I'm going to let her talk now because I've been talking. So over to you, Liz.
We've been preparing the structure of the accounts, which is almost there. Not so difficult because RBS, the software, is focused on local councils anyway. So this week, the structure of the accounts should be finalised. We've been discussing the installation of the software, and in that it became apparent that there might be problems with the networking of the computers. previously it was expected that the office-based computers sharing a common router would be able to be networked through the router. But with the increased home working, and if any of us want to work at home, we do need to have better, can you hear me? Because I've got lots of background on mine. We do need to have proper networking. And then, so we looked at various options to do this. And one company which was put forward was a one called, I've already lost the name of it. Well, it produces the local council community cloud. And they would basically provide a cloud networking to run the new financial software so that anybody could work from home and dial in and be able to communicate with it. I've got a quote from this for them to do that with 3 users, and that would add on approximately a further £1,000 a year in software fee costs. It would provide an IT support and make it very straightforward, and they would download all the new financial software onto the system. So from an operations point of view, it would be much easier. But I am suggesting that we delay the install, and we also delay the training so that we can look at the cloud network provider in more detail and perhaps get some comparable costs. With a view to installing after the summer holiday period in middle of September, and then starting the training and the running of the software then. So it would mean we wouldn't be starting on the 20th of July, which is what I put in the paper. We'd be putting it back. What do councillors think of this?
I think that if that is what you want to do, then that's what we should do, because ultimately you're the users and you have to be comfortable that it's the right thing and at the right time and it's doing the right things for you. So I agree. Explore the cloud options and see what you come up with rather than jumping just because it's there.
Yeah.
Yes, I would support it in principle, but I also support the idea that we take a bit of time to actually look at it a bit more closely before we rush into it.
Yeah, I mean, I briefly discussed this with Liz earlier, and I mean, the price that they're quoting is quite expensive for what it does in terms of the cloud functionality. So I'm not disputing at all the decision of going with RBS Realtis for the software, because I think that's the right decision. But I think we do need to look at the cloud solution and whether that's the best one for us in terms of cost effectiveness for what we actually need. Because I mean, you know, we are only looking at 3 users on it at the end of the day, and yeah, it's, I think there could be more cost-effective cloud options.
Yeah, £1,000 a year is quite expensive to link 3 users together. Anything to Roger?
No, I have nothing further to add. I think we need to evaluate it, particularly in terms of cost effectiveness. I'm very happy with the principle, but Keith is absolutely right. It sounds a lot for what they're offering.
Yeah. Howard?
Yes, I think I go along with Roger's comments and other comments there. I don't know how they charge for the software. It may be software that they don't sell much of, and their charging routine is to share the development costs across the customer base, and that may be why it seems a bit high, because it doesn't have a lot of take up. So I think we should tackle it cautiously.
Said it was license costs they were passing over. The other problem is that this is just the cost for the financial software, and I got them to do an amended cost if they did the other software use, such as so we could have all shared network documents, and that hiked up the cost yet again, which made me think it was probably worth looking at a different service provider. so that if we could have a more comprehensive networking in the future with hopefully less increased costs. So I think it is worth looking at alternatives.
Mm. Do you have anything to add, Leanne?
No, just that, you know, I'll go with what the experts think. It's not really my field, but as you know, it's worth exploring and not making a decision until we've got all the information that we need.
Yeah. Andy?
Yeah, I think just to say I strongly agree with implementing the account software as soon as we can, but actually looking at the cloud solution is really important, particularly given where we are with COVID and the possibility of second waves and people working from home for a long period. So it makes sense just to do the due diligence and make sure we've got a bit of extra capacity in the organisation to be able to work remotely.
Yeah, and allow us that flexibility, especially if there's not going to be allowed to have all three of you in the office all at the same time for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I know this point has been really made, but one of the essential points here, this is not just a financial issue. It is an issue about software being able to connect properly in a situation where remote working and all sorts of things are likely to develop compared with at the moment.
Yeah, a situation that we could not have envisioned 6 months ago when we decided to go ahead with this. All right, well, that is the end of the items on the agenda. So the only other thing we have left is any other business. So anything from you, Keith?
No, nothing for me.
Roger?
No.
Howard?
No.
Leanne?
No.
Andy?
No.
And that's it. So the date of the next meeting will be confirmed, but our next scheduled meeting date is the 1st of September, which is a Tuesday.
And with a bit of luck, we can actually meet physically.
Oh, I don't know. These aren't bad. 34 minutes and we're done.
True.
Tuesday, I may have to send my apologies then because I can't do Tuesday.
Yeah, it's I think that it's the day after the August bank holiday.
Yeah.